Hi everyone, welcome back to another one of my painting tutorials. Now this is going to be a bit of an experiment really. I've not painted birds for ages, long time, and my style has become a lot looser. From the early days when I used to paint birds, I used to paint them really tight, and I'm not over keen on really tight paintings of birds. Unless you're doing some kind of accurate kind of study. I like, for a reason, I like my paintings to be, on the looser side. So we'll just have a little go at this now. So it's not going to be, so you're going to have to bear with me a little bit. I'll do my best to talk you through it, but as I paint, it's going to be a lot about me sort of thinking about what I'm doing, because I haven't done one of these, like I say, for a long time. So just hope you can bear with me, and I can, give it my best shot really. Just finish off the sketch a minute. So yeah, so basically I've just roughed out a bird. It's a goldfinch, I think. I don't know what it is. I'm not an ornithologist, or I don't really understand much about birds, but I think somebody might better help me. I think it's a goldfinch. I just found the picture on Flickr, and I suggest you guys go and get it. I can't take it off Flickr and bring it to you because I don't know about the copyright. So, but I can give you the address, and then you can go and copy it yourself if you want to have a go. So, I'm going to be mixing up my gold, well, my yellow, and it's just, to me, it just needs a little touch of red in it. I think the yellow's just a little bit too green. It just needs a little bit. I've just put a little tad of cadmium red in there. I'm going to leave that to one side for a minute, and I'm just going to start with a bit of background colour. I think. Don't know where to start really. I get a smaller brush. No, I'm not. I get a bigger brush. So you're seeing how I paint. Do you know what I mean? Usually when I do my tutorials, I know exactly what I'm doing. Today I'm kind of floundering a bit, and I'm still going through the thought process of how to start it. But I'm going to kind of just start with a bit of background, I think. I want to keep it, I want to make sure I really keep it loose. I don't want to get too bogged down in being tight, and let's bring that line. The light's beginning to go here a bit, so I hope that's okay for you. Okay, so let's have a look. Bit of lawsuit. Excuse me, got this cough I can't get rid of. Right, here we go. I'm just going to go quite bold with my colours and see what happens. That wasn't very bold, was it? Bring some blue. Where I'm going to place my colours, I want to think quite. So basically, I don't mind some colours going underneath the where the brighter colours are going to be at this stage. We've got some I'm just going to paint it. It's on a twiggy thing here. So basically, I'm just using a selection of colours to just to start getting something going on. Right, now I'm going to mix up some cerulean and raw sienna, just for more of the background. And a bit more blue back there. Basically, when I get rid of this white paper, it relaxes me a bit more. Hopefully the rest of it will come together. I'm just going to let that dry for a minute, and then because if I start painting the bird now, it's just going to bleed out into the rest of the painting. Okay, that's dried now. So basically, I'm going to just start by trying to sketch in the bird's head, work the way down the body, basically. For that, I'm going to use some burnt umber to start with, and some burnt umber and a bit of cobalt blue. So I want to keep this quite, I don't want to start getting tight with it, and I want to keep it moving. Kind of a browny colour. But then it goes quite, it's like almost much lighter brown. So we're just going to paint but I want to keep it quite sort of blurred into the background as well. There's going to be a nice little bit of yellow in there. I shouldn't have actually painted all that, because there's going to be some nice flash of yellow across there later. Let's leave that for a minute. Right. Now I need to start introducing some of the yellow into the bird. But that just fades in gently, so I'm just letting that actually run into the brown. And I've got my yellow there, which is basically lemon yellow with a touch of cad red, because that's all I've got. Not sure if it's make sure I get that movement on his back. And for his tummy. I'm going to go back to that brown because it's got a little bit going down his back. Where it's looking a bit, we can come back to that in a bit. But I just want to keep the colour soft at this point. I don't want to be having too many hard lines. I can tighten all that up at the end, he says. Okay, just want to lift a little bit of colour out here. Just where there's some quite sort of whitish grey feathers. Just going to a nice little bit of colour on his beak there. We'll come to the background later on. We'll cut around his beak so that will stand out even more. So now I'm going to mix some raw sienna, some burnt sienna, sorry, and some cobalt blue. And I keep it's quite a simple palette of colours. I guess you could be very complicated here and do lots of different colours, but I don't want that. And just before this dries, I want to go into this wash here. So I want it to bleed out slightly. And just follow his, because it's not all hard lines. Just want to make sure. And I want it to try and get some dry brush in around so we get a little bit of sparkliness in places. So this is just burnt sienna and cobalt blue. Just to put those for. I quite like the way it's bleeding there so far. It might go a little bit too much in a minute, I don't know, but we'll just leave that for a minute. As we come back, we can do other work to this as we go along. Okay. So now I just want to go back to mix some more of that yellow. I want a kind of like a dirty version of the yellow, just to get some of this shadow under his tummy here. And I'm not going to mess about too much with that. Just want to come back and lift some of that out now, soften the edge around like that, something like that. And then he's got little pink feet, so I'm just going to suggest those. I'm not going to be doing too much. You know, I haven't managed to preserve the brightness of the colours that are in the painting, that are in the photo, but hey, I'm doing my best. I'm not going to worry about it, because if I really want to, if I was really serious about this painting and I really wanted to make it, you know, something I would sell, or hopefully sell, I would be spending a lot more time, you know, working. At the moment I'm just getting a feel for it. And okay, now there's a little bit of yellow going on across here. Just need that to dry. I should have put that in first, I feel, really. Never mind. Then we'll come back, we'll put the darker wash around the neck of the bird. Just mixing up a bit of shadow colour from the beak. Again, I haven't really done that a very good. Okay, I'm going to put some more background colour in him now. Some sort of leafy, greeny colours. Just needs to be darker than that. Sometimes, I don't know, it's funny, when you're painting something you just can't decide what to do. You know, it's not just something that beginners find the problem. You know, it's a real problem for everyone. Well, I'm sure there are artists out there that don't get the problem. They're kind of make sure I get the shape of that head right. Something like that. So I'm just choosing any colours really that I think will suit the background. Of the bird. Might just try and leafy around here. Let's soften that a bit. Soften there. I'll be putting a darker wash over his neck shortly. I'm just waiting for then I think it will benefit from some there's a little twig that runs through here which I'll pop in later. But I'm just kind of like, I don't know, trying to find my way. Because as I said at the start, you know, this is the process that when you're painting, here's a smaller brush. When I'm painting something I'm not familiar with, then this is what it's like. And it's I guess it's also a bit more nerve-wracking when you're doing it for people. If I wasn't painting for a camera, then I'd be a bit more laid back about it. But I'll put my hands all in the. Just gonna start adding some colour down here now. I'll make sure I keep his eye clear. But like any of these sorts of paintings, I'm not wanting to spend, I can't be getting too bogged down for too long. Now it kind of starts fading into the yellow here, so all I'm doing is just introducing that darker brown and then just adding water to my brush and softening it as it comes down over the painting. But we'll come back to that and tidy that up in a bit. It's not great at the moment. That's certainly not great, that shape there. Yeah, I can see I'm making plenty of mistakes, that's for sure. But it's good that you see the process, you know, because it just shows you that, I guess when you do it, it's not necessarily going to be, you know, it's not necessarily as straightforward as we think it's going to be. Not to worry about it really, because it happens to us all. I'm just trying to go for my impression, I suppose, of the bird. I don't care if it's not a masterpiece. Well, it's never going to be a masterpiece if I've painted it, but I don't care if it's going to be, if it's, people aren't going to say wow. Most important thing is you get some pleasure out of painting these things. Right, just while that dries, then we'll come back and tidy it up a bit. I just want to pop in some of these little and we'll come back and put the darks in this. I think the darks are really important to get in because they're kind of what help to bring the whole thing, you know, make the lights within the painting. I always say that, don't I, about the darks making the lights. Well, this is very, very true in this case. Well, we just need to make that dry a minute and then we'll come back. Just looking at my bird, he could do with a touch more yellow on him, I think. So I'm going to risk going over what I've put. Let's see if that doesn't do too much. There, that's better. And we'll just let that dry for a minute. While that's drying, we'll just put in the stick that he's sitting on, standing on. This comes through. Something like that. So I don't like the way that's. Try and make it look a bit more natural. Bit of artistic license. Get my rigger. I'm just with a rigger. And the rigger helps you get that nice bit of texture, which is everything. You know, a painting won't be anything without a bit of dry brush. You can't have, as I always sort of say, you know, you can't have all dry soft edges. Just adding some cobalt blue now, straight to the brown. That's a bit wayward, that leg. I've kind of lost my way a bit, but by the time we finish it, it should be okay. It should be passable. Now I'm just mixing a little bit of darker green, just for the foliage. And for that I'm just using lemon yellow, cobalt, and a touch of alizarin or magenta or whatever you got. It's a kind of a spiky foliage. Just have some going off into the shadows up here. Some down here. And I'm just being pretty random with it. Now I want to mix some shadow colour, so I want to mix some cobalt blue and some magenta with a touch of yellow ochre, just to grey it out a little bit so it's not too bright. Just cast a bit of a shadow there. Add a bit of that green. Oh, he's been warmer. Just under his tummy. It's got a few feathers going on there, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. But the thing is, you see, if you worry too much when you're painting, it holds you back from painting, because it becomes, it loses its pleasure, and it becomes stressful, and I don't think that's what we want. I think the whole idea is that it's supposed to be something to enjoy. Not something that you're going to be thinking you don't want to do it because you're worried you might fail. Failure is okay because it means you're learning. And if you don't paint at all because you're too worried to fail, then, well, that's the end of that, isn't it? I'm going to lift some of that out down there. Completely obliterated his legs, but I'll go back into that in a minute and tidy it up. What do I think of my bird? Not a lot, to be honest. Not a lot, but as I've just been saying, if I didn't have a go, then his little beak thingy there, and we'll just drop his eye in. I have to scrape out the highlights because I've just, but I'll lift that out a bit of colour in a minute. But yeah, you know, just have a go. And it doesn't matter if it doesn't work out. Leg there, another leg there. But that's how I'd go about it. And then you can just play about a bit if you want to. Just want to add some more darks in here, just to show off. These are kind of neutrally grey blues now, but it kind of helps define his shape a little bit more. And then perhaps some of the edges that aren't working I can lose a little bit. The highlight for his eye, I'll just have to lift that out because I failed there. Just want to make some little punchy holes in there. A bit of splatter, shall we? Green suit. There we go. Now okay, we'll leave it at that, but there we go. That's kind of I just got to, in a second I'll just lift out the eye. We'll just let that dry a minute. I'll come back and lift out the detail for the eye. I've just got my little blade here. I'm just going to lift out, scratch out the highlight in his eye, as I forgot to put it in, to leave it in, whatever. And I'm just going to go back Just a little darker down there. Not the best bird's eye, but there we go. Okay, I'm just going to leave it with that at the moment, but just to, you know, it's giving you an idea, I guess. Just do that butt leg in a bit. Okay. I hope you found that useful. It was just like I said earlier when I started, it was just having a go. I haven't painted birds for a long time, so it was, you know, quite difficult for me to actually be talking and trying to work out what I'm doing and actually paint the picture. But, you know, it gives you some idea how I go about it. I hope you like it, or I hope you've got some benefit from it. I know it needs a lot, it could do with a lot of improving, but anyway, thanks for watching, and bye for now.